So this is our opportunity and your opportunity to ask them questions. So many times we as adults tell young people what to do and never ask them for their wisdom, which they surely have. So I am going to let the person who had this idea start off with the first question. Right there. Is there a microphone that he may have? The first question, yes.
How's that?
There you go.
So,
tell us your name.
My name's Rich. I'm from Connecticut. So I wanted to know, how do you guys manage your afternoons? Because we were talking at the table, and mornings seemed fine, right? So you get up in the morning and you take your medicines. But how do you manage the afternoons when you're doing things at school or you're at activities, and that sort of 6 or 7 o'clock time comes along and you have to take your medicines?
So when you speak, start with your name and then just talk to everyone. Who wants to answer first? Go ahead.
My name is Lauren. Honestly, when I was put on the transplant list and understood how different my life would be in terms of taking medication and whatnot, it was never an option. My family, my mother, it was always, this is what you're going to do, and this is, how you will prolong your life. So in terms of taking medication, it's just become, it's almost unforgettable at this point. It's, you get in a routine and, that's just, it is what it is. That's your life, and I wouldn't change it for anything. I do not want to go back to where I was.
Yeah. Anybody else have an answer for that? Would you like to? Tell us your name.
I'm Kaylee Crosley. Compared to how many pills I took last year before kidney transplant, I was taking it every meal, pretty much 5 times a day. And so now having to take very little, I have it timed because I take Tacro and Celcept. So I take it at 7, and I just carry, a pill bottle in my purse because I know, taking your pills will prolong your life. You don't want to fall back into the, fall back into the disease.
Yeah. Thank you. So you all are just consistent with it. Any other questions from anyone? Tell me about support. How do you handle things with your friends and schoolmates? I think it's on. He'll manage it. Hold on. Jose, can you see? Okay.
My name is Lindsay.
Speak.
And
There you go.
I was just at New York this past weekend, and I was in a group with my friends and my chaperone and all that, and it was okay. But I set an alarm on my phone, so each time I would remember I'm 7 and 7, and I would just stop and tell my friends, hold on, guys, I have to take my medicine. And I always I have to drink a lot, so I carry a special water bottle around with me. It's in my room right now. And that really helped a lot when I was traveling around and pretty busy.
Do you find that your friends are helpful, supportive? How is it received?
Yeah, I couldn't ask for any better friends, actually. I forgot my wallet one time, and I had to get a bunch of water, and they ended up paying for most of it, and I paid them back. They stopped for me when I have to get my medicine. Yeah, they're pretty awesome friends.
What about you?
My friends, they're
Tell
really,
us your name again.
Gavin.
Hi, Gavin.
My friends, they're really supportive about it. They know that I have to take my medicine, and they know to stop and don't push me on. But once I take my medicine, I can continue doing what I'm doing. But at that 7 time, the time stops, and I have to take my medicine no matter what.
Good. What is difficult about your life? Is there anything, or have you just taken it all in stride? Go ahead, Lindsay.
I can't really, well, not that I do them, but I can't do any contact sports because it's right in front. I can't really run as longer, or I can't really do any sports, but not that I do them anyway.
the hard things is getting sick a lot. When you're sick, you're not sick just a few days, you're sick a week. Or there are times when you get like the most random ways to be sick. So you're out of school, you're missing school a lot. And so then you have to make up work, or you have the fear of getting certain types of sickness like E. coli or having allergic reactions to the medicine. I think that's the hardest part.
Yeah. How are your relationships with your doctors or people who give you medicine? Do you find that you have your questions answered? Do you think that your relationship is open and communicative, or is there anything you would improve in your relationship with your medical caregivers?
I feel like I've always had a great relationship with doctors. Communication's huge. Yeah, and just ask questions and that's
You
all
get the answers that you need.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about you, Gavin?
When you're with your doctor, don't be afraid to ask questions. That's what a lot of people I see are afraid to ask questions that don't get answered, and that's a big part because you have to ask the question because you want to know what to do about it.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Hello. Thank you for going up there and talking. I know it's not easy to talk in front of a big group, but as a parent of a young child who's 3 with transplant, I would love to hear from your perspective things that your parents did right or what they're doing to help you guys try to live, I hate the word normal, but a normal childhood. So anything you feel that your parents did a really good job or something you would advise against?
Yeah. Go ahead, Gavin.
When you tell your kid that you're not allowed to do this and do that, make sure you really enforce that. That's what my parents did a good job of, because sometimes it'll hurt you and it won't make you feel very good.
Oh, you mean sometimes kids don't listen?
Yeah.
So I think one of the things that's most important is to emphasize what might happen in the future, how it might happen, and just let them know that they do have background support, that in the end they will be okay in the end. Even though it might take a long time, it's gonna still work. Everything's gonna hopefully work. And don't push the limits at all for your child. Don't push the limits of the boundaries of what they can do and what they can't do. Definitely helps.
Do you mean let them decide what the limits are?
Yeah, let them decide what their limits are, but if you know there's certain things, even though they could do it and they can't now, don't let them do it.
Okay. Is there anything you wanted to add?
I just remember in high school, my mom would always guilt me into, still wanting me to get out and do things with all of the healthy children. But I still had my days where I would try to pull that and be like, oh, I don't feel good today. And she's like, Lauren, get up, you're going to school. So,
I had those
she
days
always,
too.
yeah, she always just pushed me to, do everything I still could.
Lindsay.
I would say just tell them that they're not, they're a good kid, just not, they're like a good kid, but that what you have doesn't define you. Your disability does not define who you are, and you can do other things. And some people may mistreat you about that, but, just don't let them in. Just keep going, and you'll be fine, and you'll be great.
Yes.
So I work in a children's hospital, and so I have 2 questions. First of all, when you go to an appointment or you come in to have your labs drawn or you have other things done, would you rather that the person that's taking care of you just ask you the questions, or would you rather they ask your parents, because you're kind of sick of listening to the healthcare people sometimes? That's number 1. Number 2, do you think the day how old do you think you'll be when you'll want to just go in and do your appointments by yourself and not have your parents there? And how hard do you think that'll be on your parents?
Okay.
I think I love when doctors ask me the questions because I feel like I feel like I have more power. Like I know what I'm doing and they talk directly to you instead of talking to your parents, so you feel, I guess, more, I don't know, like human instead of them talking to your parents, because for a long time they talked to my parents. And it also helps you be more comfortable with them. You get comfortable with your care providers and you get to know them. And so you know, like when I go in now, they're pretty much just old friends that I talk to.
They usually talk to me, but I'm not good at responding to them, so they usually talk to my mom. And that's something I have to work on, but like I'd rather be talked to.
And the second question, do you want to take a stab at that one? And both of you, Gavin, and how old do you think you'll be, or are you at the stage now where you'll go to your appointments by yourself? Is that right?
I think once you hit a certain age where you know what you need to know about what you have, that you can go in it by yourself. But I think as a younger kid like me, I think it's automatic to have my parents with me, because sometimes the doctors don't speak English to me. And my dad and my mom know what they're talking about. And I think it's just, once you hit 18, I think that's like one of those most certain ages that you should know everything about your disease so you can go in by yourself.
I'm 27 and I still bring my mother to all my appointments.
So I have one more comment. I spoke with Megan earlier, and there was some discussion yesterday about the transition from pediatrics to adult, and she had some thoughts.
Yeah, some of the questions came from parents asking, at what time and what age did I kind of transition from pediatric to adult. So I had my liver transplant when I was 12 and kidney transplant when I was 16. So shortly after, I think it was just, I turned 18 and the next clinic or follow-up appointment I was an adult. And I think the preparedness and the readiness came from my parents kind of instilling the responsibility of taking medications and knowing, what they were for and the blood work and being consistent on, not missing appointments and things like that really was instilled by my parents. So I was prepared for the adult visit, not necessarily maybe the information that was coming towards me, because in pediatrics, they, I don't want to say restrict, but there is a lot of guidelines and rules, and then you get to adult and maybe those aren't as strict. So, but I think one of the biggest things that made the transition easy for me was the connection with my physician. I was extremely comfortable and confident with her and her ability to have the conversation with myself, and I felt like I could ask her anything. Mm-hmm. So I think the connection with the physician and any clinicians on that side, meeting the kids at the pediatric level and seeing them before they actually transition, I think is a big part. I didn't necessarily have that, but like I said, that first visit into adult, the connection with my physician was huge. Right off the bat, I had that, and maybe others aren't as fortunate, but it was a female doctor, and I felt very comfortable asking her any type of questions or anything that came to mind. So,
thank you.
yeah.
You had something, yes.
Yeah, good morning. But the question I had is, are you comfortable talking about to your friends about becoming donors? And do you feel like you have the opportunity to tell your story enough? And would you like to do it more if it was available to you?
Well, you've already seen my story, but I would love to do anything else that's actually possible for me to get the word out. I feel very comfortable at this point to share my experiences with everyone.
I feel very comfortable asking my friends about if they want in their future they want to become donors, and I got my story out because it's Wyoming, so not much happens. And and I encourage them to become donors because donors save lives. If I didn't have my donor, I wouldn't be here today.
Yeah.
I feel comfortable talking around it, but most people around me know what happened because my friends kind of publicated it. So sometimes people are like, "Oh yeah, you're the girl that had the kidney transplant." I'm like, "Yep, I have 3 kidneys." And people are like, "Wait, how does that go? Like, where do they put the 3rd one?" I'm like, "I promise they know what they're doing. It's right here. We're good." And so most people, I'm comfortable talking around it. Some people aren't. So I think that's where people get nervous because they're like, do I talk to her about it? Do I ask her about it? Because they don't want to offend me.
Yeah.
And I think if you let people know that it's okay to talk to you, like you're not going to run off or anything being like, why are you talking to me about this? Don't do this. They get really afraid. So I think the one most important thing is letting people know that you're okay to talk about it, that you're not afraid to talk about it, that it's something that you would like to talk about. Then they get more comfortable with you, and then they learn more about it, and then they think, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, that's something I might want to do.
I have a question for you since you're 27. Tell me about dating and transplantation. If you're dating someone, do you think about when you tell them? Is it something you say up front? And I think anybody at any age would have this situation. So
I come from a very small town, so a lot of people know everybody's business, and yeah, I've always been someone that I'm very proud of what I've gone through, and most people I do come in contact with, that's one of the first things. It's just, organ donation is what I hold very dear to my heart, so it's always close to a topic of conversation. No secrets, like everybody, you know, I'm not afraid to share, and I love talking about it, I really do.
okay. Thank you so much, all of you. Please thank our young guests. So move there.